Most of us feel like we've got a handle on what obesity is. But what if that simple story we're always told, eat less, move more, is actually missing some of the biggest pieces of the puzzle? Let's get into it and break down the complex reality of this condition.
So, let's kick things off with the question that's really at the heart of this whole conversation. Is obesity just a choice? It feels like it should be a simple yes or no, right? But as you're about to see, the real answer is way more complicated than that.
Okay, so first things first, we need to make sure we're all starting from the same place. Let's get a really clear official definition. What exactly is obesity from a medical point of view?
Right here, the medical definition tells us so much. Just look at those two words, chronic and complex. Chronic means it's a long-term thing, not something that happens overnight. And complex, well, that tells you it has a whole bunch of causes, not just one single thing. This frames it perfectly. We're talking about a medical condition, not some kind of personal failure.
Now, at its absolute core, it does boil down to basic physics. It's about a steady imbalance where the energy you take in from food is consistently more than the energy your body is burning just to live, breathe, and move around. But the key phrase, and this is super important, is over time. This isn't about one big meal. It's a really gradual process.
So if it's just an energy imbalance, why isn't the fix just simple? Well, because that imbalance is being pushed and pulled by so many things that have nothing to do with what's on your plate. It is about so much more than just food.
The idea we hear everywhere, the one that's kind of drilled into us, is that it's all about diet. Just eat a little less, move a little more, and you're good to go. Problem solved, right? Well, this is exactly where the common knowledge starts to really break away from what the science actually tells us. The reality isn't a straight line. It's more like a tangled web. Your genes can absolutely set you up to gain weight more easily. Your hormones, the ones that are supposed to tell you when you're hungry or full, can go haywire. And it's wild how much our modern life messes with that whole system. For instance, being stressed all the time floods your body with cortisol, a hormone that ramps up your appetite and tells your body to store fat. Not getting enough sleep? It does pretty much the same thing. See? It's all connected.
And this quote right here just nails that environmental piece. I mean, think about your own day-to-day. You're sitting at a desk, maybe sitting in traffic, then unwinding in front of a screen. Our lives are just fundamentally less active than they were for our grandparents. Now, you combine that with how incredibly easy it is to get high-calorie foods everywhere you look, and you've got this perfect storm for weight gain that has very little to do with willpower.
All right, so we've dug into the really complex causes. Now let's talk about the effects, because the impact of obesity is huge. And it's not just about physical health, it really takes a toll on mental well-being too. We're all pretty familiar with the physical risks, things like heart disease and diabetes. They're serious. But the psychological side is just as tough. The constant pressure of social stigma and personal struggle can absolutely lead to things like anxiety and deep depression. And that creates this awful feedback loop. You feel bad, which can lead to behaviors that make your physical health worse, and that, in turn, just makes the psychological pain even deeper. It's a vicious cycle that is unbelievably hard to break out of. I know, hearing all the causes and effects can feel pretty heavy, but that is not where this story ends. There's absolutely a path forward to better health. So let's shift gears and focus on prevention, management, and what a more positive future looks like.
The best approach isn't some drastic, quick fix. It's really about building a solid foundation using these 4 pillars. And notice, nutrition is only one part of this. Managing your stress and actually getting enough sleep are just as crucial because they help regulate your hormones and, frankly, they make it possible to make healthier choices in the first place. This is all about playing the long game with sustainable habits.
Now, this right here might be the single most hopeful number in this entire explainer. You do not need some kind of massive, dramatic transformation to see incredible results. The science is crystal clear on this. For someone with obesity, losing just 5 to 10% of their body weight and keeping it off can lead to huge, life-changing improvements in blood pressure, cholesterol, and just overall quality of life. It's amazing. So, if there's one thing to take away, it's this. Management is a marathon, not a sprint. It's all about focusing on the process, on building those consistent, healthy habits, one day after another. It's about progress, not about being perfect. And for a lot of people, it also means getting some professional help to navigate what is a really complex journey.
And that brings us to our final thought. We've seen that this is about way more than just individual choices. It's so much about the world we live in. So I'll just leave you with this to think about. How can our communities, our workplaces, our whole society start doing a better job of making healthy lifestyles a real achievable option for absolutely everyone?